the former schoolgirl who fled Bethnal Green and a school in Bethnal Green when she was only about 15 years of age. She joined ISIS in a Syrian refugee camp. She married some guy. She's had 2 children already, both of whom have died, right, which she doesn't seem to be too bothered about, both of whom have died because of various things that happened to them while they were in this camp. She's now decided that having got pregnant for the 3rd time, she wants to come back to Britain, and she thinks that Britain somehow owes her a living, somehow owes her the care and the upkeep of the rest of her life. Well, I don't think we do. I think if you leave this country to join a terrorist organisation which is bent on destroying Western civilization, I'm afraid all bets are off. You can stay where you are. I couldn't really care less if she perishes in the desert. I don't really care what happens to her as long as she doesn't turn up right back here where she does not belong. It's as simple as that. 0344 499 1000. I know lots of you will agree with me. Some of you may think I'm being a bit harsh. Some of you may go, well, hang on a second. You know, this is a 19-year-old girl. Surely she deserves our sympathy. Surely she deserves our compassion. Well, no, I don't think she does. She doesn't deserve sympathy or compassion. She went and willfully joined an organisation of people who would like to see the demise of Western society in principle. She joined an organisation which would like to blow up innocent men, women and children. She joined an organisation which was hell-bent on debasing women, on cutting off people's heads, on setting people on fire in cages. These are savages, ladies and gentlemen. Shamima Begum went and joined them. I don't care. I don't give a stuff whether she was in some way groomed. That's not the point. She does not belong in a civilised society, and she does not deserve to be part of ours.
This woman is a British citizen, and she's entitled to play the card that women have played for about thousands of years.
Well, she was a British citizen. Whether she still is one, I would strip her British citizenship away from her.
Well, that's beside the point, and that's not what we're discussing. She is a British citizen, and she's got her get-out-of-jail card. That is, that she's pregnant. So, as a British citizen, and as far as I'm concerned, the baby also, she's brought home for the baby's safety. If when the baby's delivered, you can't take the baby away from her.
Why not? She's not a fit mother, is she? How can she be a fit mother? She's been living in a terrorist training camp, right? She's had 2 previous children who she has allowed to die. How on earth do you make that a fit mother?
Well, first of all, prove that she allowed them to die.
Well, they're dead. There's the proof. What more proof do you need?
The point here is she's got the baby's milk, so you don't separate them.
That's ridiculous. That's totally mad, Ricky. You've gone mad. You've lost the plot.
You can shoot the mother.
You've lost the plot. I don't want to shoot anybody, Ricky. She's the one that wants to shoot people, Ricky.
They're almost prepubescent.
Rubbish.
And when Michael, please.
It's rubbish.
When you're 15, you start falling in love with pop stars and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that's what most 15-year-olds do. But this one fell in love with a man with a gun who wanted to blow up half the world.
Yeah, because he won her round. He took her to bed and told her he loved her and everything. And
well, this is not a love story, Susan.
It is. That's how it started. And he took her to bed and he fed her all this, that and the other. He brainwashed her.
Rubbish.
In the process.
That's rubbish.
No, it's not.
She flew over there with the full knowledge of what she was doing, okay?
No, you can't. Not when you're 15. She was a child, Michael.
That's not true.
It is.
No, I'm not having it.
Okay, if you say she can't come here, she's a British citizen, what the hell do you think what should happen to her? Where do you think she should go?
Well, I like Will Geddes' idea. Let her stand trial in Syria, where they do have the death penalty, and if she's found guilty of terrorist offences, then I'm afraid it's cheerio.
Should she be allowed back in the country, and if so, on what basis?
Well, I think there are 2 important things here. One is that the law should take its course. And there, as I understand it, her only citizenship is British citizenship. And therefore, under international law, she is entitled to come back, and we're signed up to that, and we've accepted that. So assuming her only citizenship is British citizenship, then she can't be permanently kept out of the country. But secondly, if she's committed offences, then those should be investigated and prosecuted. But she is entitled, as we all are, to the presumption of innocence until proved guilty. There is a further possibility that protection orders are used to ensure that surveillance is applied if she does come back. But there is one other thing I'd say, and that is that she was a 15-year-old when she went away. She was married off to an ISIS fighter when she arrived. has had 3 children to have been pregnant 3 times, and 2 of her babies have died. She's expecting her 3rd child. I think there ought to be a certain human sympathy for a 15-year-old who has been abused and has, to some extent, been a victim in this process, rather than somebody who has been a leader in this process.
She shouldn't step one single foot in the UK until we have the legislation to actually deal with her and the many other British people that are likely to come back now. At the moment, only sort of 1 in 8 jihadis that fought in the Syrian civil war and amongst ISIS have actually faced a prison sentence or even a courtroom. So the government's record's not good. We need to keep people safe. And the only way we can do that is actually introducing new legislation. And she's, by the way, she's even more dangerous now that she's spent all that time in ISIS territory than she was before she left. I've heard just recently that the Islamic State has briefed its foreign fighters, because they can't go to ground in Syria because they stand out, that they should return to their home countries, plead ignorance, plead sort of their human rights, and restart the war when they get back to Europe. So these are dangerous people.
I mean, she would be sent home deliberately to foment trouble herself. I mean, there's a lot of talk in the news about people how she needs to be rehabilitated. We should take pity on her. She went out as a child. She was groomed. She was indoctrinated. She's been brutalised and traumatised by what she's seen, and she can be rehabilitated. Can these people be rehabilitated?
Rehabilitated. It's the old Shawshank Redemption question. What does it even mean? Does it regret? Well, she certainly doesn't show any regret at the moment. I think the most important thing is justice. Justice to the thousands of young girls who are the genuine victims of this, who have been butchered and have been sort of violated by the Islamic State and its fighters. So the first thing that we need to do is justice. And of course, and actually more importantly, we need to keep the British public safe. We don't owe her anything. She went and joined the Islamic State. She knew what she was joining. She still sympathises with them. She still remains a threat. So the only way she should come back to the UK is if she faces a very, very long prison sentence.
I think that the very fact that this is even coming up for discussion shows you what a mess this country's consciousness has come into. I mean, how can you do what she's done and be part of the to be associated with ISIS, the horrific monstrosities of the stuff that they've done to us, and then say, right, all done, all better, I'd like to come back now. I think it's absolutely crazy that this has even been put out there. I think what we should do is we should say, yeah, sure, you can come back, but you're going straight into prison for life, throw away the key, which is more lenient than you done or your associates done to the people that had their heads chopped off or thrown off the top of a building or whatever, you know. And that's we wouldn't see her for dust. I mean, she's just absolutely taking the mickey. Is that the way that we're seen internationally now? That we've gone so far to the left that, there could be mitigating circumstances, she can come back and all this rubbish. We need to stand up and be counted. This even permeated to the Brexit. We're just not taken seriously anymore. Maggie would be turning in her grave now over this rubbish, honestly. And that's my opinion.
Because she has an unborn child, I think that she should be dealt with differently than you would potentially somebody else.
The thing is, Khalil, this is obviously a brutal subject. It is a brutal subject in so many ways. And I do obviously feel massive sympathy for this unborn child that is, you could say, half British, although this is a woman who has defected from the UK in the most sickening of ways. However, Shamima Begum allowed 2 children to be brought up in the most horrific circumstances. Both were died. One died of malnutrition. So why should we all of a sudden care about a baby that she now wants to bring up when she allowed 2 of her previous children to die in horrific circumstances?
Because I think, Dan, that that's what makes us as a country different to those barbarians in other countries. It is that we have a legal system. It's that we have a democracy. It's that we recognise concepts of freedom. It's that we actually treat our prisoners, even the most evil ones, in ways that are much better than, as I've said, those barbarians in.
But she chose to leave us, though. And this is a woman who I believe is a barbarian, because in this interview where she showed no remorse, one of the things she said was, when I saw my first severed head, it didn't faze me at all. This is a barbarian.
And I agree with you, Dan. I mean, that is true. But
should she have the child taken away from her, Khalil?
Well, I don't think that she would be. I don't know how it would work within a prison environment, but I would probably think that she isn't suitable to keep that child in prison.
But she'd be out after just a few years.
Well, that is something that the courts will decide, but we have to give the courts a chance to do that. And I think that we don't judge the child in the same way that you judge Shamima Begum.
Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, has demanded that UK and its allies take back 800 Islamic State fighters, or they will roam free. Now, that echoes something that was on the front page of the newspapers yesterday, saying that the problem is that we need them back, we need them in jail, we need them to be tried, obviously, first of all, and we need the law needs to be in there, but we need to take them back. What would you say to that?
Penny, I don't think I've ever said this. I think I might actually agree with President Trump. I mean, normally I think he talks rubbish. We may have come to the same conclusion for different reasons, but I do think people should face justice if they've done something wrong. I don't think it's helpful if people are left stateless. I think it makes them actually into martyrs. It makes them into sort of big figureheads. I think it's much less likely that there'll be any sympathy for this lady, and she won't become a big figurehead if there's a proper investigation and if we learn the lessons that I'm suggesting we do. So I think I may have come to the same conclusion as President Trump, but maybe for different reasons.
Isn't it the responsibility of the Home Secretary and the government to defend this country? And if there are people who want to do us harm, they have every right to chuck them out. And if there are people who want to do us harm, who want to enter this country, you have every right not to let them in.
The point being this is the responsibility of the Home Secretary to defend the security of this country and the paramount. The security of people in this country is paramount. But we should remember that this was the same country that demanded the right to go and bomb Syria and Iraq, to defend the thousands of people who have suffered, hundreds of thousands of people who have suffered at the hands of a barbaric death cult, which is ISIS. Now it seems sort of smacks of double standards that when we have a British citizen who allegedly has been involved in terrorist atrocities, no evidence being provided of that yet, however, as a member of a proscribed organisation, ISIS, then she should be brought back to this country if there's evidence. She should be prosecuted.
Sajid Javid has revoked Shamima Begum's citizenship. Is that the right thing to do? I'm particularly concerned about the legal loopholes that he might have created.
Well, we may well have a legal challenge to it. But he's obviously decided that that is worth the risk. He will have taken legal advice. He won't just have sat there and said, right, this is what we're going to do. I do know the processes in the Home Office when this sort of thing is happening. There may well be a legal challenge, but I think that he has done the right thing. Because she may have been 15 when she went out there. She's matured. She's been a mother 3 times over. She's matured in a war zone. And yet she can still spout jihadi rubbish.
I'm interested in the way that I suspect you chose your words very carefully, saying that he will have taken legal advice, but he's done the right thing, because they're not necessarily always the same thing. And even if perhaps, if I could push you a bit, even if it turns out that the legal advice isn't rock solid, he has still done what the electorate wants him to do. He will have done something very popular. He will have been seen to be harsh on jihadi brides.
Well, it's high time we were harsh on jihadism in general. I mean, the only slight qualm I've got is, that we're bringing down the force of the law on this girl, and I think that's right. But, we've got loads of other jihadis who have returned, who are roaming around loose, and I think it's time somebody got very tough on the entire situation.
How is this legal anyway? I didn't think it was legal to make someone who was born here stateless.
Oh, they can if it's conducive to the public good. So, and obviously this is going to evolve and involve a big legal battle, because exactly that argument is going to be put forward. Or hold on.
Well, maybe it is for the public good, because she hasn't changed her mind about it.
But she's being groomed. She's mentally ill.
But she's
How
19
is she going to
now.
change?
I mean, you can say that of anyone that commits a crime.
Oh, rubbish. You are being ridiculous, you know,
No,
when you're
but I mean,
talking. She was groomed at 15. You think you get over it when you get older?
Well, she
you
knew
think
what
you
she
get
was doing
over
at
it?
15. You know, decapitating someone's murder.
The child is then going to invoke its own rights, and it's going to say, "Hold on, I'm a British citizen. You've deprived my mum of British citizenship. But when I was born, she was a British citizen. So I'm British. I should be allowed back, and then my mother should be allowed back, because there's a provision for parents of British children to be allowed back into the UK, but not if they've got a criminal record or conducive to the public good. But this girl doesn't have a criminal
What if you
record.
can't de-radicalise her and then she commits some sort of act in 10 years' time? What you know?
You could say the same about an armed mugger, or about a serial killer, or a robber. Then shouldn't you should never let murderers out then, or you should never let people who've committed GBH or serious crime out, or drug dealers out. Why do we let drug dealers out? They go out and deal drugs again. Maybe we should ship them off somewhere and deprive them of their nationality. Surely they're doing more harm than this girl. And has she committed a crime? Has she been proved? Has she killed someone? Has she said, yeah, I killed someone, or, I was there and I chopped someone's head off, or, I did this? There's no evidence of that. So it's very tricky legal ground, because you're going to have to prove that one. We can deport criminals in the UK after they've been sentenced and after we've proven that they've committed a crime. But what has been proven in this case? That she went out to support someone who's a terrorist organisation. There are a lot of people inside this country who support terrorist organisations.
And if it had been your daughter, Alan, who for some reason had been groomed by some organisation online and disappeared at at the age of 15, I don't think, at least I hope, that you would be taking this line.
Right. As we've been groomed, right, she wasn't particularly groomed online. That's part of her upbringing. But her father supports ISIS. He's been on marches waving banners. So what was her home life like?
Well,
She's
there
like
we
a
are.
part of the
There we
problem.
are. So,
Right, but she's still a product, and we've spent years being told that Asians, in particularly young Asian girls, are outperforming children at school constantly with their high intelligence. So what is it? You can't have it both ways. You can't say they're unintelligent and say she's made a bad mistake and now she's thick. She was performing well at school. She was a bright student.
do you know, I'm amazed at your reasoning. I don't know whether I feel safe in your cab. This is your reasoning, is it? This is your reasoning. She did well at school, so she can't be stupid.
James,
Oh, come on.
This is my reason. I want the great British public to be safe.
What is
That's whether you're Muslim, Chinese, Christian, Jewish, whatever you are.
Hang on. Are you suggesting for one moment that I don't? Because I don't like that inference in your tone.
No, because what you're saying is you're trying to excuse her on some level that she's insane. Well, I don't want
I'm not excusing anybody. You're not listening, are you? You're so wound up with your hatred and your preconceived ideas that you can't listen.
James, it's fear.
It's not fear. Your preconceived ideas that make you feel you know the answer already. I don't know the answer.
I've driven my taxi in London when there's terror attacks going on live when I'm working, and I'm telling you now, it's fear.
So I came into London when the 7/7 bombs were going off to present a programme whilst everybody was streaming out. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Many of us, we was lucky not to have been involved, but there was many that were involved, James, and we don't want to risk that happening again.